Welcome to Book Talk. And today's book is Shining Brightly by Howard Brown. This is a memoir of resilience and hope by a two-time cancer survivor, Silicon Valley entrepreneur, and interfaith peacemaker. I'm your host, Anthony Morore. And I welcome you to this show, and I believe that we are going to have a great time as we discuss this book. Thank you, each and every one of you who's been watching, those who continue to share these programs, these episodes with all your friends, and those of you who give us the feedback. We really appreciate you, and we look forward to a great time together. And don't forget to always get the books that we discuss. So today's book, Shining Brightly, I'm not going to about it myself. I'm going to have the author with us. So without taking one more minute, I'm going to introduce the author to you, Howard Brown. Welcome to the show, Howard. How are you?
Anthony, I'm terrific. I'm so thrilled to be here with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's such a great honor to have you here on our show, and we really appreciate you taking your time. And we also thank you for writing a book and presenting it to us. Now, to get started, we'd like to know, who is Howard Brown? If you can be kind enough to tell us.
Sure. So there's two answers. There's probably many answers, Anthony. But the first answer is that I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a husband, I'm a dad. That's what really matters in life, of course. But I am absolutely trying to make the world a better place. I've been through some tough times, but everybody in life goes through tough times. So the chance to be resilient and get back up again and help yourself and help others. My book is not just a cancer book. It's a book about living a resilient and hopeful life and making the world a better place.
And that's beautiful. And that's why I said we really appreciate, because each and every one of us needs that. Because each and every one of us have our down times. And then when we are down and someone reaches us down to us and lifts us up or gives us the hope of a tomorrow, that's worthy of appreciation. And so we appreciate you. Now, can we maybe mention of when you were growing up? How did
Oh,
you,
sure.
where were you born, and how did you grow up?
Okay, so I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm a twin. I have a twin sister who's 5 minutes older. Her name is CJ. So my mom
Uh-huh.
had two at
Yeah.
once. We immediately moved back to Boston suburbs, so Boston, Massachusetts. So my parents grew up in a place called Worcester. It's hard to pronounce and say, but we grew up in Framingham, Massachusetts, which is a suburb of Boston, about 20 minutes away, and fairly normal childhood for the most part. Went to public schools. Did pretty good in school. Was big into sports. I loved playing sports, mostly basketball, and I
Mm-hmm.
was pretty good at it. And ended up growing up there. And again, we didn't have cell phones, and we didn't have computers, and we didn't have the internet. So it was a slower pace, right? So it was
Mm-hmm.
different. So I grew up born in '66, so grew up in the '70s and high school during the early '80s, and then college in the later '80s. So
Mm.
it was great. It was great. We had everything we needed. My dad worked 3 jobs, hardworking. My mom stayed home with the twins, and we were our family unit. It was great.
That's beautiful. We are talking of the ages that we are always hearing, the times that we used to drink water straight from the horse and we didn't get sick.
We didn't get sick, right? We played outside. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny. My mom is Anthony. It's funny when I was playing like maybe down the street, and the way that they called us in for supper, they said, "Howard, come home," and the other mom would say, "Howard, go home for dinner," and then the other mom would say, "Go home for dinner." That's how they did it. No cell phones, just screaming
Mm-hmm.
from one house to the other to get home for dinner.
Mm. And that's beautiful. And I also happen to love basketball. I was born about a decade after you were born. And what was your favorite star back then, when it was your favorite game to watch?
So I actually, in Massachusetts, I started playing ice hockey,
Okay.
but I switched to basketball
Mm-hmm.
because I did my Hebrew school lessons. So my parents switched me to basketball at age 6, and I've been playing. I fell in love with basketball, and I've been playing ever since. And I will have to tell you that I have a whole chapter in my book on basketball. It's my
Mm-hmm.
book. So basketball, I call my happy place because everyone needs to find their happy place where they have no stress. They just have pure enjoyment, adrenaline, whatever they need to take care of their no worries. And so I wrote a
Mm-hmm.
whole chapter on basketball. That's how much I
Yeah.
love basketball. Now I have
I
to tell you, Anthony, I'm a Boston Celtics fan. So I grew up with the Boston Celtics in the 70s, John Havlicek and Dave Cowens, and then over to Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish. So I was a 70s and 80s Boston Celtic fan, and I'm still a Boston Celtic.
I used to enjoy basketball when Michael Jordan was at the top of it, and
Of
those were great
course.
times. Great, great, great
Yes.
times. Yeah, at this point, let me mention one or two people who have joined us. We have Mindy. Thank you, Mindy, for joining us, and we appreciate you and for appreciating Howard. And we also have uh, Adam with us. Way to go, Howard. Your inspirational fellow watchers.
These are friends. These are good friends. Yes.
Yes, and these are the hard names that you told us. Some names are hard to pronounce. That is Worcester. Okay.
Remember, I told you it's hard to pronounce. It's called Worcester, and it's Old
Worcester.
English.
Okay.
Worcester, England, and it's Worcester, Massachusetts. It's Old English. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. So, growing up, and then uh, you joined the workforce. What was your career, if I may ask?
So I got very lucky. I started to go to a school for liberal arts. Okay. And that was the wrong path for me. And I ended up choosing and transferring to a college called Babson College. It's in Wellesley, Massachusetts. It's the #1 school for entrepreneurship in the world. It's a very small
Mm-hmm.
school, but they
Mm-hmm.
teach entrepreneurship of all kinds and family business and woman owned business. And that's their specialty. And that's their #1, 30 straight years, US News and World Report. And I transferred to Babson, and it changed my life because
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so I learned at Babson, and I came out, and I also wanted to learn about computers and technology because it was
Mm-hmm.
just beginning in the late 80s. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
Apple computer in 84, and I ended up getting the bug. And so I joined a company called NCR Corporation, and then I ended up, moving more into technology. So it was amazing. And Babson helped me with that journey, and it helps me today because I became a president of the Worldwide Alumni Association, 44,000 students in 127 countries because they're worldwide, and a trustee of the college. And so a lot of giving back to Babson. Babson runs commentary throughout the book because entrepreneurship, changes economies, it changes lives, and I'm very proud of that. But my career
Mm-hmm.
started in technology and computers, and then went to small startups. Startups, do you want to change the world? Do you want to bring something new to the world? And so that's where I started. But I'll stop there because I got interrupted pretty early on in my life into my career. But we'll stop there.
Oh, yeah, and I heard you say I am still, but my question was, and I thought my question maybe was biased because I asked, what were you? No. Now, you got interrupted, and maybe this is a point that is going to be very instrumental in this episode. What was the interruption?
So at 23 and a half years old, I noticed a little mark on my cheekbone. And
Mm-hmm.
I was driving out to Dayton, Ohio for a big job promotion at NCR Corporation. And I ended up, it took them a couple months to figure out that I was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is cancer, a blood cancer of the lymphatic system. So at
Mm.
23 and a half years old, I was told that I didn't have a long life to live. And I ended up moving back home with mom and dad to Boston, outside of
Mm-hmm.
Boston, and going to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. And I started with chemotherapy, which is the basically poison to try to cure me, and nothing was working. It was
Mm-hmm.
really a very dark and depressive time. I was in denial. Um, I went to my 5th year high school reunion, and everybody was, depressed. They thought I was going to die. You hear the word cancer, stage 4. Howard doesn't have much time left. Get your affairs in order. Pretty scary time at age 23 and a half, for sure. But here's the miracle. And you're right. This is why people want to tune in and get the book, right? Is that I had a twin sister. My twin sister, she was typed for a bone marrow transplant. That means her blood system and bone marrow was an exact match.
Okay.
So on May 24th of 1990, early in the morning, they removed bone marrow from her hip bones, and they put it in an infusion bag, and they cleaned it. And at 5 p.m. that night, they infused it in me. Now, when you infuse someone else's body part or blood into you, the body can reject it. The body can reject it over time, or potentially it can work. Well, in my case, her bone marrow saved my life. Her bone marrow saved my life. It's amazing. It's a miracle, right? So it's great. So thank God for my twin sister, CJ Brown Gingras, who was beautiful enough to give part of her bone marrow to me to save my life. And that's miracle number 1. There's a few more miracles coming.
Okay, we'll be ready to hear them. But at this point, we point to the fact that in your life, there is going to be that person who is going to be used by God, so to say, to be a miracle in your life. And we are glad that your sister was this angel that you came out together from the, you came into this world together so that she can stand by you. What a blessing when your sister is by your side when you are going through some tough times. So, and you beat that and you came out shining, like you're shining brightly now. And then go on. What was the second one?
All right, so then I started to what I call put Humpty Dumpty, the old nursery rhyme, back together again. I had to repair my life. Once you come from cancer, it is everyone has a survivorship blueprint, and no one are the same. I had to figure out how to get my life back, get healthy. So remember, I was broken emotionally, physically, financially, in relationships. Cancer breaks you down to your core. I had to build up. So I ran away to Los Angeles, California. I wanted warm weather, waves, and sunshine. And I did rebuild my life. I went back to work. I met this young lady named Lisa Naftali, who became my wife. Amazing. And I started
another miracle.
Yes, of course it was.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I got married in 1994 at Shutters on the Beach overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It was beautiful. I got my life back. God bless me. I got my life back. Everything was going great. And then I moved up to Silicon Valley. And here's another miracle. Before I did chemotherapy in 1989, this doctor, Eric Rubin, who's my dear friend, okay, he was a Harvard fellow at Dana-Farber, now works for Merck Pharmaceuticals in Philadelphia as the senior vice president of research and development. He told me when I came in to do chemotherapy the first time, he said, your blood test, something's off, your liver function test is high, but we're going to go to the cryogenic center. Well, I'm 23 and a half years old. They told me I'm going to die. I said, cryogenic what? What is that? Well, it's the sperm bank. And he said, just go. You'll come back tomorrow. We'll do chemotherapy. I said, but you told me I'm going to die. He said, just go. So I went and I deposited a sample. Well, roll the clock forward to 2001. We flew the sperm out to San Jose, California. It defrosted. We did in vitro fertilization, right? And they took the frozen sperm and defrosted it, put it in my wife Lisa's eggs. And we've got a beautiful, healthy daughter named Emily. In August of 2001, she was born. Miracle number 2 or 3 or 4. It was amazing. So blessed to have my own daughter. And she's now 21 years old and healthy and going to graduate the University of Michigan this year. It's amazing.
That's another miracle. Now,
it is.
I ask this question. What came in the doctor's mind to suggest such?
Well,
did you ever ask that question?
I did. So I asked right away, and he didn't give me a good answer, but I went and saw him 25 years later. at a dinner with him and his wife, Kim. And I did ask him, and we all started crying. We started crying because we were so happy that he actually did it. He said that it was good doctoring, and talking about sexual reproductive health as to our patients is something that we are trained to do, and we need to do more and do better of. And he did it. And I am so blessed and thankful to Dr. Eric Rubin for having me do that, because not only did I live, but I have a family. I have a beautiful daughter that's going to be able to give back to the world. It's really
Hmm.
amazing. So that incredible, really
That's
incredible.
amazing. And since you've come out explicit, and the listener may be having this question in his mind, through the chemotherapy and the treatments that you went through, did that render you unproductive, so to say?
Yes, it did. So the
Mm-hmm.
amount of chemotherapy, the amount of full body radiation I had in preparation for the bone marrow transplant did. It basically, I can't have children. So that was the
Mm-hmm.
one opportunity to be able to do that. If I had just done chemotherapy that day, we would have had to look towards adoption or a surrogate or some other way to make a family. But
Whoa, whoa,
instead, he told me to go. So it's amazing. It's incredible.
whoa. That's a miracle.
It is.
Oh, can't imagine of that. Yes, and then you kept on going and you're keeping on going, and we appreciate you that you're going. Are we through with the miracles?
No, we got more.
Oh,
So we
oh,
got
oh.
more. So my
Uh-huh.
career is going great, and I'm feeling great. And I'm in Silicon Valley. I'm in Northern California now. We moved from Los Angeles, Southern California to Northern California. My daughter's born at Stanford Hospital. I'm working at startups, technology startups. I'm having great business success in my career. A couple companies went public, and things are great. And I get a call from my twin sister. She said, "I'm moving to Michigan." I said, "You're moving to Michigan?" She says, "Yeah, my husband got transferred." And I looked at my wife, who's from Michigan, and her
Mm-hmm.
family's in Michigan, and my family's still in Boston. I said, "Let's raise our family together, have Emily be with cousins and grandparents and aunts and uncles in Michigan." So in
Mm-hmm.
2005, we moved to Michigan, and I was still continuing with technology. And we moved here, and it's a great place to raise a family, but the winters are very cold and snowy, like Boston, not as
Mm-hmm.
great as California. But unfortunately, in 2016, I went in for what's called a colonoscopy. And so a colonoscopy is something at age 45 here in the US that you get checked. And they basically go check up the tushy, right? With a hose and a camera. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I woke up and they said I found something. And I was shocked. My wife was holding my hand. I looked up at the gastroenterologist doctor and I said, "Doc, everything's okay." He said, "No, no, I found something." Well, I was stage 3 colorectal cancer, specifically
Oh.
colon cancer, in
Mm-hmm.
June of 2016. Again, knocked down again. Had to deal with, everyone has to play the cards that they're dealt. Well, I was knocked down again. But this time I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'd already been through cancer once, even though it was 26 years ago. So this
Mm-hmm.
time, instead of being a deer in the headlights and no computers and no internet, no cell phones, I knew what I had to do. I became a Marine, an Army soldier. I had to actually fight this disease back. And I started with colon resection surgeries and chemotherapy, and it didn't work. It didn't work. A year later, I was what's called metastatic stage 4 colorectal cancer. And again, they told me you don't have long to live, 4% chance of living 12 months. And it spread to my liver, my stomach lining, my bowel. And they said, we don't know if we can save you. So again, a very, very, very dark time because I wanted to see my daughter graduate high school. She
Mm-hmm.
was a freshman in high school, first year, and I wanted to see her graduate. I wanted to keep living, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I had to go back through chemotherapy and more surgeries. And I did a massive surgery in March of 18 where they cut me open. They took out all the cancer they could see. And then they poured hot chemotherapy inside me. And so far, that worked so far. So I'm considered what's right now at this time, almost 3 years, no evidence of disease at this time. So I have 2 more years to get to what's called remission, 5-year remission period. But that was a miracle
Mm-hmm.
number 3 or 4, whatever the miracle count we're on. And I've so far I'm doing great. I wrote the book. We went from cancer to COVID. I dictated and wrote the book, and now I'm an author, a podcaster, speaker, and trying to motivate, educate, and inspire. And I also, Anthony, want to say this: I am very blessed. I am very grateful, and I am very lucky.
Wow. And we are speechless just by sharing your story. Uh, when exactly did you write the book? You mentioned about, yeah, COVID and cancer,
Okay,
COVID and everything, things happen. What came, I mean, at what point did you decide, now I'm going to put this into writing and I'm going to share my story?
I'm glad you said it that way. Put it into writing because you have to know your strengths, right? I'm a
Mm-hmm.
pretty good speaker, but I'm not a great writer. So my publisher said to me, "Let's write a book and leave a legacy." And I said, "Let me think about it. You know, I'm not sure. I'm healing from cancer, and I'm not sure because I know it's going to take a long time." He said, "Oh, it'll take a year." I said, "Okay." But I called him back and I said, "This is David Crum of Front Edge Publishing and readthespirit.com." And I said to him, "I'll do it on one condition. I'll write a book." I said, "I'm going to dictate the book over Zoom." I said, "I'm not a great writer. We're going to record on Zoom and I'm going to invite all the most influential and important people in my life and we're going to tell my story. And then
Mm.
those will become transcripts. Those transcripts will become chapters. And then I will finally have a manuscript." Well, I have to tell you, it took 3 years. I started October 2019, and the book just about 2 weeks ago went for pre-order on Amazon right now. So I actually have a book.
Now you have a book,
I
and
have a
this
book.
is shining brightly. Now, despite the darkness that may come upon your life, or you are going to find along your journey, you still have got that light inside of you and you're shining. And you're shining much more brighter than some of the people that have everything that they may be wanting in their own lives. Now, what an encouragement, what an inspiration that we have in Howard. This is beautiful. And another thing that I get to draw from your story, something that I've been hearing in the recent past, in the most recent past, is about coming with something good out of the pandemic that we've been through. Now, this book has come out during that period. I mean, that's when you put it into, and you don't use an excuse of not being able to write. You dictate your book and it's transcribed and it's put into writing. Oh, this is a beautiful story that you're giving us here. Thank you very much once again, and we can't thank you enough for taking your time, using your life to be a message to someone out there. So thank you. We
Can
thank
I
you.
can I just can, oh, Anthony? I thank you. I want to tell you that I feel that I'm shining brightly with you today because you said it right. The book has light all through it. Because if we live a life of darkness, it is lonely, it is depressive, and we're coming out of COVID. We need to basically capture that light, our own light. Then we need to share that light with others to help lift them up. Then they will share with others. And then we're going to make the world a better place. So I appreciate you noticing that theme in the book because it's so important in today's world that we shine our light and then share with others and then together we make this world a better place. That's the theme of the book.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we continue to thank all those people who've been around with you and together with you. Mindy, yes, Mindy says that we are supporters of you. All your friends, together with all your friends, and she tells us how you met uh, through your shared publisher, Frontage Publishing. Thank you, Frontage Publishing, for such a wonderful job that you did to make Howard's dream become a reality. We also have Adam, who has some comments to make in our show. He says that we are having our 10th bone marrow drive at Babs on October 1st with another cancer survivor, Chris Sherman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's an alumni of Babson College and a friend. So Adam runs bone marrow drives for people with cancer that are looking for a match. It's a beautiful work. Again, more light, more beautiful light in the world.
yeah, thank you. And we also have you are blessed. I mean, Howard is blessed. Has a countless friends that are in support of him and coming in. We have Susan who's sharing, reminding us that the book is available at Amazon, just like you mentioned. And the link has been shared there. We are going to share also in the show notes. Thank you very much, Susan. We really appreciate. And we keep going, but before we go far, we would like to know, for someone who's being interested in this story and wants to connect with you even before he gets the book or she gets the book, how can they reach you?
I appreciate that. So the best place is to come to shiningbrightly.com is my website. Now,
Okay.
so the book, the hard copy, the paperback, and the Kindle version are available for pre-order. So pre-order is the marketing build up to the book. On September 27th, the book will be shipped to all those who pre-ordered the physical book. Now, the Kindle will be sent electronically over email, and you can turn that on. Now, this is what I'm learning, Anthony. I will be able to send autographed book plates. Book plates
Mm-hmm.
are stickers that you can sign. If anyone comes to my website that has ordered a book, I will mail them a personalized and autographed book plate just by sending your information in the contact area of shiningbrightly.com. So please come and talk to me. There's downloads, there's discussion guides, and help me with the conversation. And I would love it.
Wow. So once again, that's www.shiningbrightly.com. Connect with Howard and get the book. Now, all those promises that he's given you, you can't wait another minute. Just go there and do it.
Thank you.
And yeah, and we really appreciate you. And this has been a wonderful time sharing with you. Anything that you may want to share before we get off?
So this book has 3 cancer chapters, and they're tough. But my book
Okay.
is a life lesson of resilience. And the final word I want to leave you with is hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
My last chapter of my book is called Sharing Hope. The
Mm-hmm.
reason is that hope, like sharing a hug or sharing love, right? Or sharing a good deed, sharing hope is what we need to cling on when you're knocked down. Okay, you can knock down from drug abuse, divorce, school shootings, lots of great negative stuff happening in this world. But without hope, we have nothing. And so I end my book with giving everyone in the world some hope because I needed hope. And people gave me hope. They prayed for me all around the world. They cheered me on, and I felt it, and it got me better. And I am still here today to spread more hope.
Mm. Thank you for that, for spreading more hope. But before again we go, you've mentioned some two words that maybe we can touch on. You talked about faith. You talk about miracle and prayers. I mean, it's not I'm using now the two words that you've used frequently: miracle and prayer. Can you mention to us what's your relationship and the relationship of the person who's hearing this with the faith, with the prayer, with the miracle that you're talking about? You and how they can utilize that.
So people say that I'm an inspiration, that I've been
Uh-huh.
able to beat cancer twice and to try to continue to lead a good life and heal the world as God is telling us to heal the world.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have faith in something. Okay, so
Yeah.
whether you of the Muslim faith, the Christian faith, you're atheist, you're Jewish, Hindu, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you that my worldwide network prayed for me. They
Mm-hmm.
prayed for my survival. They prayed for my feeling better just one day. I felt that. That helped me, okay, by taking in their light and their prayers and their cheerleading, help me survive. We can't do this alone, okay? And that's a theme of the book. And so my worldwide network cared and showed hope and faith for me. And that's why I always say I am blessed, I am grateful, and lucky,
Wow. Blessed, grateful, and happy.
and happy too.
Thank you for those words. We really appreciate. And we wish you continued health and we wish you success in everything that you are doing right now, and especially the success of this book, because I know, apart from it being a benefit to yourself, it's going to be a blessing to so many people out there who are going to read it. And that still adds to your blessings.
Thank you for
And
allowing me to shine brightly today. Thank you. Thank
yes,
you.
and maybe we are going to hear in the future, in the near future, some other miracles, more miracles along the way. That's what we wish for you as we continue to pray for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's it for today at Book Talk. I've been your host, Anthony Morore, and together with Howard Brown, we are saying bye for now and thank you.
Thank you.